And welcome back to the next video. In the course of effective change management, you will learn a lot about the different tools that you can use in the process of change. It is very important that you adapt and apply these tools to your own local situation. But I will explain now in this video how to identify smart key performance indicators because you will need them in any project that you will do and any change process. So let's go. Within the smart indicators, I need to tell you that usually we begin with a SWOT analysis. I think you most know how to do a SWOT analysis to identify the strong points, the weak points, the opportunities and threats, and how to deal with them within your project. It's a very good method to start a diagnosis. But with those SWOT analysis, you will also identify indicators which will help you further to monitor in the process of change if you really make progress. And there is a thing about indicators, because indicators can be, let's say, vague. Quite often you see that politicians, managers, they define vague indicators. And I'm not saying fake, but I mean vague. And in order to not make vague indicators, there is a methodology which we call SMART KPIs. Well, what does it mean? It's an acronym for, the S stands for specific, and the M stands for measurable, and A stands for achievable. Sometimes people say attainable, but I will use achievable today. The R stands for realistic, and the T stands for time bound. So we have 5 criteria where the indicator should comply to, and it's very important to do this in the right way. Well, we can keep it theoretically, but I don't want to do that. I want to really show you by an example how to define smart indicators. And I will use a story of a training I did in Egypt some years ago. We had in our group, we had, let's say, city managers, heads of departments, politicians from the local council, and they were in my group. We did this exercise, and they said, okay, yeah, but how can we define smart indicators? And one of the heads, he was the head of the Department for Waste Management, said, well, actually, I had a problem, and I would like you to tell that problem and to see how we can use those smart indicators. Well, it was in the governorate of Monofea, and the city was Shabin El Kam, which is the capital of that province or governorate. And some years ago, I think it was in 2015, in Egypt, the president and the government announced a program which is called Make Egypt Beautiful Again. What was the problem? Egypt is one of the fastest growing countries in the world. They have millions of people extra every year. And a city alone like Cairo already has like 25 million people in the greater area. And you know, there is a problem for municipalities to keep them clean. So, you know, Egypt has a beautiful history with pyramids and hieroglyphs, and well, it's the ancient world. But today many municipalities have a lot of waste in the street, flying waste around. So the government wanted to do something about it. And when the government wants to do something about it, the municipalities have to follow. So the governor of Monofea said also to his mayors, do something about it, and let's make Egypt beautiful again by making our city beautiful again. So the head of Department of Waste Management was thinking, well, how shall we do that? So I will, let's say, draft you the map of the city. It helps a lot with our exercise. And then we will see how we can define smart indicators. So let's assume we have a city here. Yes, it looks about this. We have roads crossing the city, many roads, and they go like this. Let's assume they go like that. And that we have some hotspots in the city. Like we have the train station here, and we have the bus station for intermunicipal bus traffic there. We have a hospital here, and we have near the bus station a market, food market. So there are a lot of activities. And what is the big problem with waste? Well, actually, we have a lot of different types of waste. We have solid waste, we have fluid waste, there is flying waste, plastic bags that fly around, etc. We have debris from construction, and in Chabin El Kom, it's mainly like the waste from the markets near the train station, the bus station, the hospital, and there's a lot of debris because the city is expanding very rapidly, so there is a lot of construction debris lying around in the streets. First of all, the head of department said to the mayor, okay, but how shall we define clean? Is that a good, smart definition? He said, well, I announced on local television and local radio that we are going to make Chabin El Kom clean again within 3 months. Okay, 3 months, clean again, but again, what are we talking about? Well, the head of the waste management department said, okay, well, if we analyze now clean city, do we think that this is a specific, let's say, indicator, clean? Are we talking about fluid waste, solid waste, etc.? So, no, it's not specific yet. Is it measurable? No, we don't know what we're talking about, so it's not measurable as well. Is it achievable? We don't know. We have to put a question mark here. And is it realistic? We don't even know that. But we do know that it is time bound, because you announced everywhere that it should be done within 3 months. So it is time bound, and that's the only part of the smart indicator which is specific. Okay, he said, Mayor, dear Mayor, let's discuss with our team what we should do. Are we talking about, I have to go back to the city, are we talking about fluid waste, solid waste? He said, okay, let's talk about solid waste, because then we can make an inventory of what we are talking about. Solid waste is what comes into the eye most, the flying around waste, the debris, etc., etc. This is what people see lying in the streets. So let's do something about the solid waste. And after 1 week, the head of department made an inventory, and he estimated that in order to do this, we would talk about 300,000 tons of waste that should be collected from the city to give it a cleaner image again. Okay, well, going back now to the indicators. Have we done a good job? Well, at least we know now it is specific, because we are talking about solid waste. It is measurable, because after the inventory we know we are talking about let's say 300,000 tons. We still know that it is time bound, but is it achievable and realistic? Well, yes, let's go, said the mayor. But of course the head of department said, sir, we have to look at our resources. Can we do it like this? He said, okay, what do you mean by resources? He said, well, we have a limited number of trucks, waste trucks, and they can have a limited capacity of 30 tons each per day collecting waste. So let's see if it is also achievable and realistic. I'm always going forward when I should go backward, but no problem. So let's make the calculations. We have 30 trucks in the city for taking away the garbage. Yeah? And each truck can do 30 tons per day, which is a total capacity of 900 tons per day. Well, Mayor said, that's good. I didn't know that, that's news for me. Sorry, the head of department says, unfortunately I have to tell you that we have about 5 trucks constantly in repair. So in fact we are talking about 25 trucks on an operational level. And if we do this like 30 tons per day, we can do not 900, but we can do 750 tons per day. Okay, said the mayor, so where does it bring us? Well, actually, you said on television that we have 3 months. So how many weeks do we have in 3 months? We have 13 weeks in 3 months, yes? Let's assume that our staff can work 6 days per week to collect the debris. Then we are talking about, if I calculate right, 78 days available for this job. Okay, says the mayor, so where does that bring us? He said if we can do 750, well, this is not very readable, 750 tons per day, and we have 78 days. This will bring us to, quick calculation, 58,500 tons. Did I do that right? I wrote it also on a note. Yeah, exactly. So now you think that I'm a quick head calculator, but I really prepared these numbers. Let's say 50,500 tons in 3 months. Are we done with the job now? Well, actually, we have a problem. We need to do 300,000, but we only can do in this period of time with all our capacity 58,500 tons. So let's get back to see if we have smart indicators. It is specific, it is measurable. The problem is, however, it's not achievable and not realistic because our capacity is not sufficient. Wow, the mayor said, then I have a huge problem because population expects me to provide a cleaner image within 3 months. We even committed this to the government and the president. So what do we do? Well, actually they organized a brainstorm. They invited some other civil servants to see what they could do. And at a certain point, the head of the waste management department said, well, okay, I have an idea. It's maybe not the optimal solution, but that's the best what we can do. He said, okay, let's go for hotspots. If we go in the city, we know that we will find most of our problems in waste around the bus station, around the train station, around the market, and even with the bus station it's about this area that has most of the waste problems. And you know, our traffic gets stuck with the debris because the open roads to hospital where our ambulances need to go, they're congested with cars and debris, etc. So we need to do something here as well. He said we have 58,500 tons capacity. If we focus on these areas, we will create an image for the population within 3 months of a much cleaner city without knowing what to do yet in the areas where we don't have the capacity for. So let's start with this. you are going to announce in the media and manage the expectations of the people that we start with the most serious places. And after 3 months, we will bring out a program to tell that in the next period we will move to other areas of the city and start cleaning up there. So the mayor said, okay, I like this idea very much. Let's do it that way. And let's go back now to the indicators. We see now that, let's say, from starting from nowhere, we have a specific and even more specific, let's say, indicator. We know exactly what we're going to do. It is measurable still. We reduced, let's say, our problem to a scale. We downsized the project to a scale which is achievable, and it is realistic, and we can do it in 3 months. So we have now a plan with a smart indicator, and we can monitor on each of these points and follow in the next 3 months if we are going to achieve this or not. Well, this is an example how to make smart indicators, and you can apply this to any project that you are going to start. Because if you are going to do effective change management, you have to know where you start. We call this the 0 point, and you have to know where you're heading to. This is your target. And if you can't measure that, it will stay vague and you will never be, let's say, clear about the results that you achieve. So try it in your own environment, try it with your own project, and good luck with that. Thank you very much.